Tell us, what was your go-to technique for managing that sense of overwhelm?
Well, I can't remember where I nicked it from, but all the ideas I share here, I have stolen from somebody else. I think it was potentially Eisenhower.
You didn't know him personally.
You can look up on your favorite search engine to sort of see the Eisenhower matrix and stuff, and urgent, important, and so on. But the way it worked for me, and the version, I always think like a hack's only good for me if I can remember it and if I can tell it to somebody else. The version which worked for me was I call the 4Ds. Mm-hmm. And it was basically saying, I'm overwhelmed. What I want to do is sit down with you and go through the list of stuff that I've got to do, and you're going to help me figure out how to manage it. And so the 4Ds were number one, delegate. So is there something on the list that I could ask somebody else to do? And you could do this within work. You could do it within your life. So it might be, I'm going to ask my wife to pick up the kids because that gives me an extra hour to do this, and I'll pay it back another time. It could be asking a subordinate or a peer or even your boss to take something off your list. So I think that sort of delegate one, really helpful. Quite often people want to help you. The second one was delay. This is the most powerful one in my view, which is quite often you've got stuff on your list where the deadline you've set yourself is an artificial deadline, or it's somebody else's deadline, but you could just call and say, hang on, would it matter if I gave you to this, this to you after the weekend or whatever? Or it might just be something where you sort of said, I want to get this done this month, but really it could be done later. Also with delay, quite often, the later you leave something, the more solved it gets, or it becomes sort of less important. So unless it's mission critical, that's a really helpful thing. I'll give you the third one. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm listening.
So that is delegate, delay. Third one is drop. That's the other thing I find is I've got stuff on my list all the time, which are kind of nice to do. But if it was an emergency situation, I would spend no time on it. If I really had to push and shove, I'd sort of stop doing it. And it can just be a stress reliever to just cross off a few things altogether. This is where somebody who's not you, even if they're nothing to do with the context of your to-do list, can really help. Do you really need to do that? Sounds crazy. My wife is really good at that. My assistant at work was really good at that. She's like, I've got 5 things in the diary. Just kind of get rid of them. Just tell people, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Really liberating. And then the fourth D, of course, is do. It's the unavoidable stuff that only you can do, that has to be done, that's important. And I found going through that process of those 4Ds with somebody else, not necessarily my boss, a peer, could really, really help.